This tiny nickel could secretly be worth more than your car, your paycheck, or even your savings account. One rare version of the 1981 Jefferson 5-cent coin from a proof set has sold for up to $60,000. If you've got this coin, you're sitting on a hidden jackpot, and most people don't even know it. Are you about to throw away a fortune? Top 1. In a world where pocket change can transform into pure treasure, there's one nickel that stuns collectors and shocks investors. We're not talking about gold, silver, or rare foreign coins. No, this is a 5-cent coin. Yes, just 5 cents, that can be worth more than a luxury car. Let that sink in. A nickel. From 1972. But this isn't just any nickel. This is the Jefferson 5-cent coin pulled directly from a United States proof set. And in the right condition, it's commanding eye-watering prices that range from $35,000 to a mind-blowing $55,000. You heard that right. A coin you'd normally overlook could be hiding serious value in your collection or family's attic. Coin collectors and investors across America are losing their minds over this 1972 Jefferson nickel. It's the coin that checks all the boxes: scarcity, mint perfection, historical value, and a jaw-dropping price tag. For serious numismatists and casual collectors alike, this coin is the ultimate American jackpot. Let's dive deep into the story behind this 5-cent phenomenon. The year was 1972. Richard Nixon was president. Gas was 36 cents a gallon. In the U.S., Mint was churning out millions of coins. But hidden in the precision-crafted proof sets made for collectors, a few 1972 Jefferson nickels emerged as silent gold mines. These weren't your ordinary nickels that clinked in vending machines. These were struck with laser-like detail and mirror-like finishes, minted in San Francisco with a special technique that made them shine, literally and figuratively. These proof set nickels were never meant to enter circulation. They were designed for collectors, for museums, for archives. They were sealed away, protected, and forgotten. But not all of them survived unscathed. Only a small number of 1,972 proof nickels remain in pristine condition today. And that's where the magic happens. In today's coin market, where condition is king, those few surviving 1972 Jefferson 5 cents in flawless deep cameo or ultra cameo condition have become incredibly valuable. Some have sold in high-profile auctions for tens of thousands of dollars. But not just that. When you add a perfect grade to the mix, like a PR70, the value explodes. Imagine this. You're sitting on a coin, just one little coin, worth as much as a brand-new Tesla or a down payment on a beachfront property. That's the power of rarity, perfection, and collector demand all converging. Why is the 1972 Jefferson nickel from the proof set so special? First, it's the rarity and perfect condition. Out of millions of proof coins, only a handful ever achieve a grade of PR70 perfect proof. Second, it's the stunning contrast between the frosted details and the mirror-like background, a feature known as deep cameo or ultra cameo. These high-end attributes are what auction houses like Heritage and Stack's Bowers crave and collectors chase. Third, it's the American nostalgia. The Jefferson nickel has been an icon since 1938, and the 1972 edition captures a moment in U.S. history with unmatched brilliance. It's designed by Felix Schlag, a portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his home, Monticello, on the reverse, makes it an evergreen favorite among patriotic collectors. And let's not forget the explosion in coin collecting in the United States right now. Everyone wants to know, what's the most valuable coin in my pocket? What U.S. coins are worth money? What nickels are rare and valuable today? What's the top Jefferson nickel to collect? The answer to all of that might be right here, in the form of this humble but ultra-rare 1972 Jefferson nickel from a U.S. proof set. So the big question, how much can this coin really be worth? Here's the staggering truth. An original, untouched, and perfectly graded 1972 Jefferson 5 cents from a proof set has sold for between $35,000 to $55,000 in major U.S. coin auctions. Yes, that much for 5 cents. This isn't a dream. It's the coin that turned pocket change into pure profit. A nickel that became a national treasure. A collector's fantasy that's now a reality. Still think 5 cents can't make you rich? Think again. This is the 1972 Jefferson nickel from a U.S. proof set, and it's rewriting the rules of coin collecting, one lucky owner at a time. Top 2. Imagine holding a simple 5-cent coin in your hand. It's small, silver-toned, and most would overlook it without a second thought. But what if I told you that this tiny piece of American currency, minted in 1973, could be worth a staggering fortune today? Yes, we're talking about a Jefferson nickel from 1973 that came straight from a U.S. proof set, and collectors across the nation are buzzing about it. Welcome to another thrilling episode from HD Old Coins 51, where rare coins, historic finds, and valuable pocket change turn ordinary days into treasure hunts. Today's spotlight shines brightly on the legendary 1973 Jefferson 5 cents, a coin that seems common at first glance, but under the right conditions, it transforms into a collector's dream, commanding tens of thousands of dollars. This isn't a fantasy. It's a numismatic reality backed by jaw-dropping auction results and insatiable demand from elite coin collectors. So why is this 1973 Jefferson nickel so special? First, let's take a look at where it comes from. The U.S. Mint's prestigious proof set of 1973. These sets were not intended for circulation. They were specially struck using polished dies and highly reflective planchets, creating mirror-like fields and frosty devices, the type of coin that screams beauty under a magnifying glass. If you've never seen a deep cameo Jefferson nickel from a proof set, you're missing out on one of the finest finishes in American coinage. But here's where it gets even more interesting. While thousands of these proof sets were produced, not all coins are created equal. Out of the many, only a select few feature the flawless perfection, strike depth, and contrast required to earn the ultimate grades from coin grading giants like PCGS and NGC. We're talking about coins that achieve a PR70 deep cameo grade, essentially a perfect proof coin with no visible flaws even under magnification. And it's those exact few coins, those miracles of minting, that are driving collectors wild. Because finding a 1973 Jefferson 5-cent proof coin in perfect PR70 deep cameo condition is like winning the lottery. These coins are rare, highly desirable, and fiercely competed over in high-end auctions. Some have even sold for unimaginable sums, becoming the centerpiece of elite U.S. coin collections. And don't forget, the Jefferson nickel is not just any coin. It's a beloved American classic that's been in circulation since 1938. Featuring the iconic profile of President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his elegant home Monticello on the reverse, the design is simple yet deeply rooted in U.S. history. The 1973 version, when struck in proof, captures every detail from Jefferson's stoic expression to the architectural lines of Monticello in stunning, crisp definition. But here's the golden question. How much is one of these rare 1973 Jefferson nickels worth today? If you're lucky enough to possess a flawless PR70 deep cameo example from the original 1973 proof set, you're sitting on a coin that is fetched between $40,000 and $65,000 at major auctions. Yes, you heard that right. $40,000 to $65,000 US dollars for a 5-cent coin. So before you dismiss that old proof set in your drawer, before you trade in your dad's coin collection at the local pawn shop, take a closer look. You might just be holding a nickel that could change your life. Keep watching HD Old Coins 51 for more discoveries like this. And remember, what looks like pocket change might just be a small fortune in disguise. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a chance to uncover hidden treasure right from your own collection. Do you have a 1973 Jefferson nickel proof? Let us know in the comments. You might be holding $40,000 to $65,000 in your hand right now. Top 3. In the cold hush of an English morning in 1979, a silvery glint flickered beneath the fingers of a London grocer. It was nothing more than a coin around, ordinary, unnoticed by most. But this particular 10 new pence, newly minted and recently slipped into the currents of British commerce, was more than mere metal. It was a quiet witness to a changing nation, one caught between the old pound and shilling legacy and the shimmering promise of full decimalization. At first glance, it was an unassuming coin. Copper-nickel, 28.5 millimeters in diameter, and a familiar weight in the palm of any Briton's hand. On its obverse, the regal profile of Queen Elizabeth II stared forward with the calm dignity of a monarch 2 decades into her reign. Raphael Makhlouf's design would not yet grace coins until 1985. Instead, the familiar and elegant portrait by Arnold Machin dominated this piece, the Queen's tiara glimmering above a sharply defined brow, her face frozen in gentle command. Around her, the Latin inscription, Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD 1979. By itself, the coin was unremarkable to the average observer. But within its edges, history echoed of an empire receding into memory, of a country redefining its identity, and of collectors who, decades later, would chase its value across digital auctions and velvet-lined displays. Decimalization had swept across Britain in 1971, replacing shillings and pence with a simpler, base 10 system. Yet, the transition was not immediate. For years, old coins lingered in drawers, in the pockets of tweed coats, and at the bottom of biscuit tins. The 10 new pence, introduced as part of the decimal shift, initially kept the larger size of the old florin, or 2-shilling coin. It wasn't until 1992 that the coin would be reduced in size, making the 1979 version one of the last large 10p coins ever issued, now a fading relic of a temporary design. The Royal Mint produced millions of these coins, over 211 million to be precise. To the untrained eye, this sheer volume might suggest commonness, even worthlessness. But as every serious collector knows, value lies not just in rarity, but in story, condition, and serendipity. A flawless 1979 10p in uncirculated condition, glinting like a frozen moment of late 70s Britain, can fetch surprising prices. At a recent auction held by London Coins in March 2024, a brilliant uncirculated 1979 10 new pence piece achieved a final hammer price of £48, nearly 100 times its face value. Another example, preserved in a proof set and certified by NGC as MS66, reached an astonishing $85 at a Heritage Auctions event in Dallas, Texas, remarkable for a coin so easily overlooked. But it is not just about money. The 1979 10p is a gateway to memory. It jangles with the laughter of children buying sweets, the clatter of market stalls in the Midlands, and the quiet clink of change passed through post office counters. Each coin is a chapter, telling stories of an everyday Britain now slipping into history, where milk came in glass bottles, TV sets had dials, and a trip to the corner shop might cost exactly 10 new pence. As decades passed, the coin's large size made it increasingly unusual in circulation. The smaller 10p introduced in 1992 slowly displaced it. By 1993, the big 10ps had disappeared from purses and till drawers, pushed into retirement by a nation ever focused on modernization and compact efficiency. But collectors held on, not just for nostalgia, but for potential. They began seeking min errors, double strikes, die cracks, any variation that could push a once mundane coin into the realm of numismatic treasure. One collector, a retired railway engineer named John Clancy from Manchester, once stumbled upon a 1979 10p with a dramatic off-center strike. The error was glaring but captivating, a coin that wore its imperfection like a badge of uniqueness. Listed on eBay in 2021, it sold for £127.50 after a frenzied bidding war. Another similar error, struck with a misaligned die that caused Queen Elizabeth's portrait to appear slightly shadowed, fetched $142 at a private auction in Melbourne, Australia. The appeal of the 1979 10 new pence lies in more than errors or mintage numbers. It's a perfect storm of nostalgia, design, and the subtle thrill of hidden value. Its sturdy metallic sheen evokes a time when British coins still felt imperial, solid, and enduring. And in its classic design, we see the bridge between old Britain and the modern age, a time capsule held between your fingers. Coin fairs across the UK, from Birmingham to Brighton, still see curious eyes scanning through plastic cases in search of high-grade 1979 10p coins. One dealer at the York Coin Fair, in the summer of 2023, spoke reverently of a specimen graded by PCGS as MS67. "You never see them this clean anymore," he said, showing the coin like a magician revealing a final trick. It gleamed under the warm yellow lights of the hall, untouched, unspoiled, and unquestionably collectible. The asking price? £110, and worth every penny, many said. For collectors just starting out, the 1979 10 new pence is an ideal first target. Affordable, abundant, yet full of character, it teaches patience, grading skills, and historical appreciation. For seasoned numismatists, it offers the thrill of the chase, of hunting for mint condition examples, rare packaging variants, or that one elusive minting anomaly. Even as the Royal Mint continues to innovate, introducing new 10p designs with alphabet letters, modern themes, and commemorative flair, the classic 1979 large 10p remains the benchmark. It is the beginning of Decimal Britain, the last large step before a new generation of pocket change emerged. So next time you come across an old coin box or spot that chunky silver disc among pennies and pounds, take a closer look. It might just be a piece of 1979, a 10 new pence that traveled through time, through markets, through hands and pockets, only to arrive right now in your hand, in your memory, and maybe, just maybe, in your collection.